Let me go with it. Bob Walsh. Now, is this a personal problem with voting, Bob, or you want to wait for later? Do you have a personal problem with voting?
What? Yes.
No, what we're trying to do is get all the people who get a problem with voting first, and then after. Do you have one?
I was a personal witness to a lot of what went wrong. My name is Bob Walsh. I live in the city of Bridgeport. Do I need this?
Yes, you do.
Hi. And I'm a member of the Bridgeport City Council. On election day, I was at Central High School at 6 in the morning, stayed until sometime around 10:30, went into work for a little while, returned to Central High School at 1:30 and stayed there for the rest of the day. When I go in to vote at Central, I normally go in and I go to the shortest line because they have signs that say 12901, 12902. I'm a seasoned politician and they don't mean anything to me. And we'll get to this later. I mention it now. The other thing that you have to understand at Central High School is a large number of the voters who vote at Central High School vote there on even-numbered years and vote somewhere else on odd-numbered years. And I'll get to this again. This is because of city and state districts not being in sync. I had heard about 10:30 that day about a problem at Black Rock School in which people had the wrong ballots in their hands. I don't know for this to be totally true, but it was my understanding that the candidates for state rep and state senator were incorrect, and that somehow it may have possibly been ballots from Longfellow, from another precinct that Longfellow got over there, or something like that. But, I mean, that is a very egregious error. And that could have thrown any close election into a new election. And I hope this panel looks into this and names the individuals who were involved in this, because they should not be allowed to be election officials in the city again. It was sometime around, I don't know, maybe it was 2:30, when all of a sudden the vote on the machine hadn't changed for a couple of hours. I knew something was wrong. You could get the machine, number of people at Central. Number of people who had voted was like 808 for a couple of hours. And I went inside because I knew something was wrong at that point. And that's when I found out that they were voting by machine-copied ballots.
What time was that, Brian?
That was probably somewhere around 3 o'clock, maybe. They were, and they're just, the machine wouldn't read them. It wouldn't register the number of people who voted, and they were just putting them into the side of the box at that point. And then I heard a little while later that they were out of ballots. And I walked into the school, and I was devastated. I mean, there were lines of people. There was total confusion. I went up to some of the election officials at that point, and I said to them, you have got to go through these lines with that voting list and make sure people are in the right line. Because some people would walk into the school, just see this line, long line, and line up and not even realize there was another precinct inside with nobody in line. Because they didn't have a ballot problem at all.
So there's
two precincts. 12901 is a much smaller precinct. They didn't have a problem all day. 12902 is the one that ran out of ballots.
What was the first number?
12901.
They had no problem.
They had no problems with ballots.
The other one is 12902.
And it's a very small. It has like Ed Gomes as a state senator, Auden Grogan's as a state rep. The other one has Musto and Grogan. So that's why they're separated out. But people afterwards, people were coming up to me and said, I waited in line for an hour and a half to find out I was in the wrong line. People walked up to me afterwards and said, I waited in line for an hour and a half to be told I vote at Blackham School. This is how badly run it was. And I was embarrassed as an elected official, And I had no clue as to what was going on in that school that day, because you just hear all kinds of rumors. Ballots are on their way, ballots aren't on their way, ballots are being printed up in Hartford, ballots are being printed in City Hall, and I couldn't honestly look any of my constituents in the eye and tell them what was going on. I mean, a couple of people, when they came out from voting, when the ballots finally got there, I hugged them. I told them I wouldn't wait in line for an hour and a half even to vote for myself. Okay, well, at 10 o'clock, I went into Central High School. At the end of the Central had the 2 hours extended voting.
10 p.m.
At 10 p.m. And there was a little chaotic getting the numbers from the machines and all, and I was over at one machine. I came back to the machine where the bigger problem was and said to someone standing there, "Where are the ballots?" And they said, "They're over there in that bag, those 2 bags." And I said, "They have to be counted before they leave the school." So I went up to the moderator and I said, "Excuse me, those ballots have to be physically counted before they leave the school. Otherwise, you don't know if you lose any." The moderator said, "It's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm not sticking around here anymore."
They left the ballot? They left the ballot?
She was prepared to leave it like that. Now, I understand somewhere on, like, the Hartford Courant website, there's a video of me explaining to the moderator in an animated fashion that she can't do that. But she was prepared to do that. She was prepared to do that, and there was no one there who was really going to tell her you can't do it.
I have to ask you to kind of wrap up.
Yeah, okay. You know, and I mean, but that was a very, very big problem. I'll leave you with a few things on the budget.
Okay.
Because I don't see anywhere in the Registrar of Voters budget anything that talks about printing ballots.
If you leave this that way.
There's a lot of finger pointing going on, but if there's nothing in that budget that says this is how much money you have for printing ballots, then there's a big problem there. And I just want to say one thing in closing. Mayor Panuzio, I'm a little disappointed in you accepting this position. Last night, the City Council approved a contract for your lobbying firm, and the extension of that contract is at the sole discretion of the mayor of the city of Bridgeport next year. And I think you have allowed yourself to be put in a position where, even if through total omission or whatever, this commission turns out to be somewhat of a whitewash.
Well, I'll give you a lot of time, but let me just wrap it up. And I've already commented on the fact that I have time. If people don't know me after 35 years, then I'm not in this to cause any kind of a problem. My intention, hopefully, is with the help of a lot of people who give us ideas, and with each 5 panel members to do it. Disappointment, I'm sorry.
But it's Bridgeport, and Bridgeport has a bad reputation.
Well, that's true. That's the reason I did it, Bob, because I'm tired of hearing that.
Well, I will. Once you let me know how I have specific recommendations too, which I will forward to you if you tell me how to do that.
You want to do 2 things. If it's clear enough, you can leave it with us for the record. If you want to print it in a better fashion,
I'd rather.
Then turn it into Art Lasky at the city attorney's office.
Okay.
Because he's going to be the collector of those statements.
All right.
If it's in the form now, like Nancy here, we'll take it right now.
I can do a better job putting them up.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck. Here is the adopted budget and proposed budget for the Registrar of Voters office.
All right. Thanks.